This is the Trow Minnow. This is a fly that I designed fishing out in Wyoming, tied on a large size 2 4x long streamer hook. Really productive fly out there in a few colors. Started fishing it around locally, found out that it was extremely productive on Mossy Creek and then in other colors for smallmouth bass. I'm going to tie a size 4 4x long today and show you the tricks to putting it together properly. What we're going to do is on this hook we're going to put our lead from the hook point, and this is 25 thousandths lead. You can use heavier if you'd like. We're going to wrap this lead all the way forward to about 1/8 of an inch and leave some room ultimately to tie off the S-TAS. And get rid of this tail. I'm going to tie using some black flat wax nylon. Again, I'm going to start my thread back behind the lead and build a dam, and then progress it forward over the lead and build a dam up front as well to keep the lead from sliding. Bring my thread all the way back to the barb of the hook, and this is where we're going to tie in our rabbit strip. What we're going to do is expose the rabbit strip. The skin we're going to tie once we pull back that rabbit. We're going to be able to tie our thread right down on top of that barb. And once we tie down on top of the barb, I'm actually going to wrap the thread forward towards the lead about 1/8 of an inch. And then I'll show you a little trick that I do on the tail. But what we want to do is get that tail nice and secure right on top of the barb. Wrap forward all the way to the hook point where the lead stops. And now what we're going to do is pull the rabbit strip back and actually wrap over the skin here and just progress back until you get to the barb. And this serves two purposes. It fills the gap from the lead and where you originally started tying in your rabbit, so the body will be fairly symmetrical when we wrap our S-TAS forward. The other thing it does is when you pull this rabbit forward, you're not going to have a crease back there where you would normally have one on traditional Matuka style streamers. So once the rabbit is secure, we're going to take our S-TAS, again remove some of the fibers from the top, and again S-TAS is directional. The fibers, you want to have them pointing down when you tie in your tag end. Tie it in right against the hook where we tied in the rabbit, and then we're going to advance our thread forward about 3/4 of the hook shank, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap your S-TAS forward. And as I wrap forward, what I do is use a lot of tension and pull the fibers of the S-TAS back after each wrap, and that'll give you a nice silhouette to the body. and just wrap it progressively forward until we get to our thread. And go ahead and tie it off, but you don't need to clip it. You can just tie it off and pull it back out of the way. If you have a material clip, just put it right in there. And what we're going to do is pull this rabbit forward, and I'm going to pull the rabbit forward, the hairs forward, and expose the skin, and I'm going to pull forward and nice and tight and draw that rabbit right down on top of that S-Taz and then tie it off. And you can cut the rabbit strip, tie down any extra material you may have, cover up any remaining lead that you see. And then advance your thread all the way forward, and now we're going to create the head of this fly. And the secret to finishing this fly off nicely is to do very close, very tight wraps for the head. And what that'll ultimately do is give you a very symmetrical bullet-shaped head that will swim properly in the water for you. If you leave the head relatively sparse, it's not going to swim the proper way. So just take your time, wrap progressively forward, right up behind the eye of the hook. Grab your bobbin and tie it off. Pull back any little fibers that have been exposed. Really tie it down tight, and then throw in a whip finish. And we're going to get rid of our thread and our material and a few of the fibers that are creeping forward on us. And that's about it.